Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we dive once more into chaos, conquest and questionable decisions. Let's get started as usual, guys. Today I'm very excited that we are going to start a new campaign with Europa Universalis IV. These days are a very special moment to start a new campaign with this game, since this week, I think it was last week, it was announced EU5, which is Europa Universalis V, by Paradox. So that's going to be very exciting. Of course, we will have a proper series playing Europa Universalis V on this channel, so stay tuned. But this time we're going to play with EU4, sorry. And we're going to be playing as Castile, which is a very interesting choice because, as Castile you can expand through the Americas, since, Spain played a very important role in the conquest of America, together with Portugal and England, France as well at some point. So you have a very interesting story and gameplay for colonization, and also you have a very interesting opportunity to expand throughout Europe, So we'll see where life and destiny take us to. So like always, guys, this is going to be a beginner-friendly gameplay. I will try to explain everything I do and why I do it. So I hope you enjoy. Let's see. We're going to start, like I said, with Castile. We start with, we're a kingdom, independent nation. This is our ruler, which is not very good, actually. It has 3 admin, 3 diplo, and 3 military skills, so not very good. We have a lot of interesting ideas, actually. We will go over that eventually. Like I said, this is a beginner-friendly in the sense of me trying to explain everything that I do, but not in the sense of explaining, what is this thing for, or what does this thing does in the game. So we're going to go through everything at its, eventual time during the game. So I think we can get started. Like I said, we are choosing Castile. And here we have a very interesting overview in the sense that Iberia, which is this peninsula, is land-shaped by the spirit of the Reconquista, which is the Spain, what will be Spain eventually, but now is Galicia, Castile, Navarra, and Aragon. Aragon, they are trying to reconquest the peninsula from the Muslim, which at this point of history, which is the year 1444, after God, of course, after Christ, there is only this tiny little territory, the Granada kingdom, which is Muslim. The rest is Catholic. So we will try to conquer this, and we'll try to unite the Iberian Peninsula. And let's see, like I always say, and from my different series with Imperator Rome and CK3, I don't like to paint in the map. I will try to keep as realistic as possible. So if you like that kind of gameplay, of course, you will definitely enjoy this one. So, like I said, let's click play and start the game. We're going to play in the normal mode, since we have a couple of things that I actually didn't went over, but I think this is a good time to start. A couple of things. First, I'm going to try to keep these videos as usual around 30-35 minutes, so hopefully we'll be able to do that. In this first episode, I don't think we are going to be, playing the game in the sense of unpausing and keep it, start to doing a lot of things, since initially we will be spending time in making the initial setup. Okay, so I think that's what are we going to cover in this episode. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is that I'm playing with a couple of mods. I really like the expanded family mod for EU4, so I highly recommend them. If you didn't try them yet, please do. I think they add a lot of flavor to the game, and also they expand on a lot of things that the game already offer, but in more depth. So I think that's very enjoyable. And also I'm using the graphic map GMI, the GMI mode for the graphics, so you can see that the colors are different than from the default UI, so that's going to be great. And I'm also using a big UI for the production, so both the production and the general big UI, which hopefully will help us to see the menus and everything in a much better and efficient way. So yes, that's basically, and I'm playing with all the DLCs, of course, as you can see over here. All of them are activated. So yes, with that we can start. I'm not going to read everything because it's going to be very lengthy, and I will be spending a lot of time reading, but you can pause, of course, the screen and read what it says here. But basically what it says is that Castile is not just one kingdom, it's a union of different kingdoms: Castile, Leon, Toledo, Galicia, Murcia, Jaén, Córdoba, and Seville, which they came together under the Trastámara dynasty. Okay, and what remains of the Moorish presence in Iberia, like I said, is Granada, so we will try to take that back from them eventually. And very important thing, in this game you have the estates, which of course, if you're familiarized already with the game, you know what that is. But for the viewers that are not very familiarized with that, the estates is like they divided the society in three main parts. And these are the parts that you need to work with and make sure that none of them are too angry or too upset, because that can cause internal revolts. So one segment of your society is the clergy, which are the more religious people, and the other one is the burghers, which is the tradesmen and people that are working on commerce and economic activity. And the other one is the nobles, which, it's self-explanatory, I think. So Castile begins the game with a very high influence from one of them, the nobles. And actually we will start by assigning a couple of privileges for each of them, so we can try to handle that in as balanced as we can. So yes, that's basically what this is warning you about. And here you can learn a little bit more about the Catholic faith and the modifiers that it has in the game. The most important thing is, of course, that we are Catholic, and the Pope is a very important person, and the papacy is a very important country that we need to be in good terms with. Okay, and this is a very short explanation about the government and what a monarchy really is and how it works in terms of having a heir, and how the Regency Council works in the case of we don't have a heir, that sort of things. And a little bit more about the Holy Roman Empire, which at this point in time in history. Of course, it was a huge player in Europe. Not in their best moment, I think. But of course, it's a very important country or empire, actually. It's a very important empire that we need to consider while we do whatever we do in terms of diplomacy in Europe. Okay? And actually, probably in the future, we can do, a gameplay with one of the countries or nations that are part of the Roman Empire. Actually, let me know what gameplay do you think we can do next, and I will be more than happy to listen to that and do a run with the one that you think most or more. So yes, that's that. And as always, if you like the content and you're interested in these kind of games, we have a lot of things coming, guys. Like I said, we already started with Imperator Rome. We also have an ongoing gameplay with CK3. We are starting today with EU4. So hopefully, Victoria 3 and Hearts of Iron 4 are games that are coming to the channel, of course, eventually. So yeah, let me know if that's something that you would be interested in, and any more suggestions. More than happy to read that. Okay, leave that in the comments if you want. So like I said, we're gonna start. This is a very nice graphic mod, by the way. It's more clear, I think. It's nicer, it's more clean to the eye. So yes, this is Castile. These are the provinces that we have right now. What are we doing? Okay, first of all, guys, we need to take care of this, the estates. Since the estates are a very important part, like I said before, of what consequences you may face in terms of managing your kingdom. Okay, so we have the clergy, the nobility, and the burghers. Let's start with the clergy. We have a loyalty of 50%, but the equilibrium, the loyalty that is going to be in equilibrium, which means that whatever number you have here, every month they will tend to go towards the equilibrium. Okay, so right now for the clergy, the equilibrium is 36.9. So it will decrease by 0.23%. Like I said, every month. So we want, or I usually want, for the equilibrium to be above 50%. Okay, so let's see. Oh, by the way, this is the influence. This is the loyalty, and this is the influence. And they currently have a very low influence that is generating us a very low national tax modifier of only plus 5%. Okay, so let's work on increasing both loyalty and especially the influence, because we don't want to have like one of them. You can see here that the nobility has a 74% influence, which is huge. And that's the reason why we're not going to be giving any additional privileges to this estate. Okay? So yes, one thing that I always like to pay attention to is to avoid giving privileges that cause a change on crown land. Like you can see over here, we start the game with a 25% of the of the kingdom owned by us, by the crown. Only 25%. We need to increase that, because this is causing, like you can see over here on the tooltip, a negative modifier on the national tax, on the absolutism, and of course more liberty desire from our provinces. And the nobility controls 58.75% of our land. So I'm trying to avoid any privilege that affects crown land. For example, you can see here that if you give this privilege, we will lose crown land. So let's see which one. This one we can't choose. That's why it's like a grayed out or black and white. This is a very good one, but the downside for this is it makes stability more expensive, 10% more expensive. And we don't want that, since we may need to boost stability and let's see if I can move this. No. And this is going to make that even harder or more expensive. So clerical ministers also, it's a good choice, since we're not affecting crown land, but it gives a positive effects on missionaries, and missionaries become a very important part of your kingdom and your game after you colonize America or any other region of the world. So right now it's too early, so I'm not going to give a privilege that I'm not going to be using right now. This one is very good because we are not affecting crown land, and we are giving 10% loyalty, equilibrium, more equilibrium, and we're increasing 10% the influence, clergy influence. So we're going to grant that privilege, and you can see that now the loyalty equilibrium is at 46.9, okay? And they have a 23% influence, which is now given a positive modifier for the national tax of +10. Remember that before it was +5. So that is very good. And we are trying to increase both of these, like we said before, okay? This one is when we are at war with maybe, heathens or heretics, nations or kingdoms. Right now it's not the case. This is a privilege that I usually used to give to the clergy, but I mean, to be able to build a church, it's still a couple of years from now. So I think we will wait. We will try to remember once we can build and we are start to build the first church or temple, to give them this privilege. So we gain papal influence, which is very good. Right now the papal influence is at 0. This is how you start the game, okay? Clerical inwards focus, no, because this exempt from this land, and we will be seizing land after we finish giving all this privilege. So we will increase the crown land to 30%, okay? So I don't want to benefit any of the estates, at least not at this point, okay? So I don't want to give any monopoly. Religious culture, no, it's affecting crown land. Religious diplomats, this is very good because we are increasing only influence, but we gain +1 diplomatic reputation, which for the people that are watching this and are familiar with Paradox games, you know that diplomatic reputation is very good because it makes other countries to accept or be more willing to accept any proposition that you make them. So this is very good. And we gain more opinion, favorable opinion from other countries. They will like us more if they are from the same religion. Okay? So we are going to grant this privilege. Okay? Now, Now the influence is at 33%. This is still 46.9. Okay. Let's see if there is anything else. Development of temples. No, because they'll not lose crown land share. I don't want anything that affects, taking crown land from them. Fund theological studies. No, this is from, this is a good one. We can give 5% more influence in exchange of more reform progress growth. And we will look at reform, it's over here, government reforms. Each month you increase your advance towards the next government reform to become available. So this will make that go faster, basically. Of course, scaled by or with the state influence. But yeah, I mean, I'm willing to give them this. So we are now at 38. By the way, you can't see that over here, but it's 3 out of 6. Okay, you can see that here. The base value is 6. We gave 3 privileges. And of course, we will not use all the spots. Allow religious delegation? No, and right now doesn't make sense. This one, neither. Right of donations? No, this has to do with missionaries, and like I said, missionaries are important in the game in the future. So I think we are good for now. Yes, the equilibrium is 46.9, which is not bad. And once we give the sanctuary, what was the name of the privilege? Church sanctuaries, we will go above 50, which is what I wanted. But for now, I think we're okay. So that's enough for the clergy. Now, nobility, I said I don't want to give any more to the nobles because they already have a very high influence over us. So it's 74, too high. And we are already gaining 20% manpower recovery. So that's why. And in this case, let's go with the burghers that start with 33, only 33 loyalty of equilibrium and 19% influence. This estate, you can see that each estate gives a boost to a specific thing. The clergy helps you with your national tax revenue. The nobility helps you with your manpower recovery speed. And the burghers help you with trade efficiency, which makes sense. They are the burghers, they trade. So let's see if we can increase that. Of course, we will be able to do that. But, rhetorical question. Well, these two, like I said, I don't want to mess with anything that affects the chance of seize any land. This one is a privilege that I've seen, a lot of people actually given to the state. But the thing that I don't like about this is the negative national tax modifier. Because at the beginning of the game, especially when you don't have a lot of revenues, for me, it's important to have as much money as I can. So I don't like this -5, especially if it is only in exchange of, a yearly prestige and then an immediate gain of 15 prestige, which now we have only 8. It would be nice, yes, but I don't like this one. So let's continue. Burghers' crown possessions, no, exempt from seized land. Remember, we don't want to do anything that affects land. This one, the same with the clergy. Stability cost modifier, I don't like that either. indebted to the burghers. You know, the good thing about this is that although we will be losing some trade efficiency, since we will go above 20, we will gain a 5. So it's a net 0 effect on the trade efficiency, okay? And we will gain 5-year loans at 1% interest. And we need that, guys. We start the game with only 62 gold, which is nothing for all the things that we need to do. So I will definitely give this to them. Now we have 700, and we will discuss later what we are planning to do with that money. Okay, so that's one thing. The next is free enterprise, which is very nice. We increased 10% loyalty and 10% loyalty equilibrium. So right now it's at 38. We will go to 48. Let's give that to them. Yes, nice. So now it's at 48 and the influence is at 34. So let's see. Exclusive trade rights, no, because we will be gaining more autonomy, local autonomy on some provinces. This one could be interesting. I mean, control over monetary policy. We will have like a production efficiency, also reduction on inflation, and less interest per annum, which is nice. But it comes to, or with this cost, you know, with this trade-off that I'm not willing to accept at this point. Maybe in the future could be a very good thing. Private trade fleets, of course, light ship cost decreased by 20%. That's, you know, significant price reduction or cost reduction, and more trade power. So that's very nice. Yes, we will give this to them. Now we have plus 15 trade efficiency. Things are getting better, guys. And right now they have a 53.3. So that's very good. And let's see, they are already very high, even higher than the rest of them. Yes. So I don't know if we're going to give any additional privilege. Let's go. I don't want monopolies. I can do this one. No, this is affecting land. No, allow burghers economic freedom. This one could be interesting because we will gain provincial trade power. We will go over the trade later. But it's a very interesting increase, 4.8%. And also we gain more merchant power, trade power, which is very nice. And trade is going to be the most important revenue generator that we're going to have. So I think we're going to go ahead and give them that privilege. We already have 4 out of 6 slots. So, I mean, we could give this privilege, the National Sailors modifier, but I don't know if it is going to be actually, you know, we have 567 sailors in our kingdom. We have a maximum of 4,000, and we are gaining 33 each month. So in 1 year, we will be having 1,000 sailors. Okay, so in 4 years, we could be reaching our maximum number of sailors. So, yes. I don't know. I don't see that like critical right now. But we will see. It's very nice to know that we have this possibility. Okay. Prestige from naval battles. Not right now. Monopoly. I don't want monopoly. This one is something that I am I'm leaning towards giving that. So let's give them. Why? Because we will increase the national tax modifier by an extra 10%. We already are through the clergy, we already have plus 10. So with this, it would be plus 20%, which is, very interesting. So with that is already 5 out of 6, so I think we are good. So yes, we have taken a loan of 129, actually 5 of them. Yes. We will summon the Diet, which is like we summon the 3 estates and we make them propose an objective, an agenda for the next, I think it's 20 years or 10 years. I don't remember. Oh, here, 20 years until November 1464. So 20 years from now. The good thing is that all estates will gain 5 loyalty. So they will go to 55. And since I'm going to be seizing land, and this will have a minus 20 effect on the loyalty of each estate, they will go to 30%. And rebels may rise up if any estate drops below 30. So we're good, thanks to calling the Diet, or summoning the Diet. Okay, let's see what they are proposing, okay? The agenda of the Diet. The estates of Castile have proposed agendas for the summoned Diet. Favoring one of the states here could have large benefits in the long term. The clergy bemoan the poor regard the Pope has for our nation. They call for us to reaffirm our standing as good Christians by solidifying our relations with Roma. So the proposal of the clergy is basically get the papal state opinion of Castile to 100. Okay? Let's see if we can check what is the... Right now they have a plus 35. Okay? So the goal is to take that to plus 100. Let's see what the nobility wants. The nobility requests that we invest in the prosperity of their lands in Toledo. That's an easy one. They want the base manpower to be at least 6. So right now in Toledo, the manpower is... I think this is one. Yes. The manpower is at 4. Okay? So it would be increasing this 2 times in 20 years, which is very easy and doable, which is the most important thing, by the way. So let's see. And the burghers, finally. The burghers call for us to increase our commercial presence in the Tunis trade node, an action they claim would greatly increase the prosperity of the nation. The Tunis trade node, by the way, if we go to the trade map, we can see that we have different trade nodes. The most important trade node for us is this one, Sevilla. And this trade node is very important since it is the trade node of our kingdom, basically. You can see that the green provinces are the ones that are part of this trade node, the Sevillan trade node. So most of our kingdom is part of this trade node. But we are only, you can see over here, we start the game with 2 merchants. One is transferring trade power to Sevilla from Safi over here. This is the Safi trade node, which basically, Northern African or North African kingdoms are part of. Okay, but we are transferring 1.09 gold to this trade node, thanks to having this merchant over here. But we also have a merchant in Tunis, which is what the burghers want us to do. And 0.43 is being sent forward to Sevilla. Okay? And they would want to have a 25% or more trade power. Right now, our trade power is 24.2. That is 10% of the total power in this node. So they would want to increase that from 10 to 25, which I'm not very interested in, since you can see over here, it has only 24.2, okay? And if we increase that, we can go to 48. So, yes, I don't think it's in our best interest. It's much easier to improve relations with the papacy and get it over to 100. So that's the one we're going to choose, the proposal of the clergy, okay? Like I said, now the loyalty level is at 55 and we are good for seizing land. Most of the land, we will get it from nobility, of course. They own most of the kingdom. Right now is 58.75. So it will go down to below 55, actually 54. Okay. Yes. Now they have 54% and we have 30% of the land. Okay? It's fully controlled by us. So that is done, guys. One thing before ending the episode, it would be to go over our subjects, just to mention, and we are all on the same page. We start the game with two subjects. One is Granada, which is the one that we are planning to conquer to the south, and with Galicia, which is a personal union that we will be integrating eventually. This takes time. I think they need to be, let me open this one. I think relations, no. Covert actions, maybe? No. Economy actions, no. Let me check. Influence actions, integrate. You may only integrate a nation which has been your junior in a union for at least 50 years. So only in 1494 we will be able to do that if they have a plus 190 relation opinion of us. So we will be working on that. First and foremost, let's take care of the diet objective, the agenda. So we will be improving relations with the papacy, with one of our diplomats. Let's send him over there. Nice. So this will increase in +3 every month. It just increased by 3 by only starting to improve relations. So we are now 38. Okay, so we will take that to +100 and we will accomplish the objective of the objective of the diet. The next thing on the agenda is going to be military. And we start, let's take a look. Quick look actually. We have a land force limit of 28. And we have 23 regiments. Okay? So we can expand our army 5 more regiments. We don't want to go over the land force limit or the naval force limit, which is only 19, and we already have 18 ships. Okay? So what we are going to do is to take care of this. This is the Flota de Cantabria, which is Cantabria's fleet in English. And it is made of 5 lightships, which are very good to protect trade. And what we are going to do is to build one more, so we can go all the way to the naval force limit of 19, and we will tell this fleet to protect trade. Where, and this is very interesting, because I have always, I don't know, I'm doubting now. Because you can see here that it says that the profit from sending this fleet to Sevilla is plus 0.27 gold. And sending it to Safi, it's plus 0.32. So I think it makes more sense to send this fleet to Safi. I think more economic sense, So yes, I think this is best. Let's send this fleet over here and see how it works. Okay, so that's done. We have another fleet of 13 ships. 10 are transport ships, and 3 heavy ships, which are the most, the strongest ships in your navy. And this one, we're going to send it to hunt pirates, because we will have a lot of pirate action over here and over here, thanks to our dear friends of Morocco. So we'll try to hunt them down. Okay, so hunt pirates, and especially in the Sevilla node. Okay, because this is where we have our most important provinces in terms of trade, and our most important provinces in terms of the economic power. So with that, we have taken care of Navy, and before we go, 2 more things. One is going to be take care of this. Right now we have 11 regiments in the Asturias Army. So first of all, we're going to assign the leader, which will be Álvaro de Luna, which is a great leader. You can see 3 fire, 3 shock, and 3 maneuver, and 1 siege, which is very nice. So we will be assigning him to this army, which is where he came from, actually, historically. And if you can remember, or if you looked at my CK3 series, we are playing as the Count of Santiago, which is a county over here in Galicia, which is now Galicia. And Santiago is part of the Asturias kingdom. So that's where he came from, Álvaro de Luna, a very important character in Spanish history, actually. And actually, we're going to have a very interesting, events from Álvaro de Luna, because he played a very important role in the history of Castile. And for the Guardia Real, which is the Royal Guard, we're gonna give our ruler military command, because I don't want to spend the 50 military points. We only have 98, and this would cost us 50 mil or military point. So yes, we can do this for free. We can assign our ruler as general. And he came up very good. I mean, 2 fire, 2 shock, 2 maneuver, and 2 siege. How much the leader will help the siege to end faster. So that is a very good roll, guys. So now both our armies have a leader, okay? This one is better. It has 2 stars, like we can see over here, 2 stars. And this one has only 1. But I mean, could be worse. So the thing that I wanted to do also with our armies is right now we have 11 regiments, like I said, and we are going to increase, we can increase 5. We saw that before. The maximum was 29 and we have, 28 and we have 23, if I remember correctly. So let's add 2 more regiments over here so we can have 10 regiments of infantry and 3 regiments of cavalry. We will be recruiting those. And over here we have 9 infantry and 3 cavalry for a total of 12. Let's take it to 50. And we have actually 12 infantry and 3 cavalry. Okay? So, yes, I think that's fine. I think it would be best if we gave more infantry to this leader since it's a better leader, but you know, it makes historical sense that the Royal Guard should be more important than the Asturias army, okay? So with that, we basically took care of the military part. We want to increase that, the number of troops, I mean, by land and by sea, both. The next one is the religion, but right now it's not very important. This one is what we will be clicking once it becomes necessary to boost our stability. Right now it's at 0, and we will be boosting the stability in the future. Right now we need 100 Diplo power, and we only have 70, so we can't use it right now. Then we have the decisions, okay? And the first decisions we are gonna make is, you can see from the Heir skills, they are basically horrible. 0, 0, 0. It couldn't be worse, actually. So, and he's a very strong Heir, okay? Enrique de Trastámara, which is his Juan II son. So we are going to educate our heir, okay? And which one are we going to choose? I mean, we're gonna go for hopefully administrative education. We can let Enrique pick, which could be best, actually. While we will lose control over their studies, they are more likely to be successful as they'll pick something they truly enjoy. So, yeah, we can educate our heir in a specific field. However, we can also allow our heir to choose what he wishes to study. So we will lose control, like I said, but it's more likely to be more successful, or more likely to be successful. So let Enrique pick. Yes. With that, we took care of one. We are going to choose to enable the trading fairs. I'm not entirely sure about how it works, but we're gonna find out together, guys. That's a very important thing. Let me know what you think about the trade fairs. Maybe you know more about that than me. Probably. I don't know about that very much. So yes, feel free to comment. And this is an explanation about one of the mods, the subjects expanded mode, one of the expanded family. So we're gonna deactivate so it doesn't pop up here like we have a national decision available. The manage the estate powers, right now we don't need that, so we're gonna unclick so we don't get a notification from that. And I think that's taken care of about the decisions. We're going to choose a mission tree. Of course, we have the mod, so we will choose the mod mission family or mission tree. Yes, let's confirm. And the first two that we have right here are, one of them is the Castilian succession that will begin or will be activated once our king dies. Which that didn't happen yet. And this one, prepare for the Reconquista, is going to be accomplished by, well, we already have a general, so number of generals is at least one already, but we will get our total army size at least 90% of the force limit, which we already did. Remember, we are increasing the land force to the 28 force limit, and we are building one more ship to get it to 19. So we will get 100 force limit, 100%. The idea is it's too early. The same with the technology. Trade, it's interesting to see and try to remember what we are getting from trade right now, 7.76 right now. Let's see once all the changes we made begin to take effect. The economy, which are right now running a surplus, okay, which is nice, of course. And yes, I think that for our next episode, because I think it's time to put a cut in here, for our next episode, guys, we're going to be working on our diplomacy. We're going to start unpausing the game, since once you make a diplomatic decision, for example, we sent a diplomat to improve decisions of the papacy. Once that is done, we need to wait for a day until we can do something else, diplomatically speaking. So yes, we're going to be unpausing the game and start dealing with all the events that are going to start happening to us. So it will be very interesting to find out and to handle those together. So, and the last thing we are going to actually, besides diplomacy, we will take care of hiring the advisors, okay? And we will be assigning our national focus. We're going to change it. Right now it's on the military power. We are going to take that to the administrative power. We can do that right away. Why? Because we will need to increase administrative power as fast as we can. Because remember, if we want to increase or boost stability, we need admin power, okay? So that's what we're going to focus on. So yes, like I said, guys, I think it's time to put a cut in here. I hope you enjoyed. Please, if you like, click on the like button and subscribe. A lot of things are coming soon to the channel, so subscribe to keep you posted. And if you made it this far, thank you for sticking through the madness. If you enjoyed the episode, hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts or strategy tips, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Okay? See you on the battlefield, strategists. Bye bye.